Hi everyone, welcome to this update video for the Friday the 5th of February 2021. I can't remember if it's the 40th. I've given up quoting the how many weeks since lockdown because it's getting on for nearly a year, and so some of you guys will have noticed that I've started simply just calling it a weekend update with the date. So yeah, I can't remember. I think it's like the 47th week, but anyway, let's forget all about that. You are looking at the 7300 and tuned to 3.710 megahertz, and spot the difference. There's no STANAG signal. In fact, the nearest signal is these guys.
Our friend D3TIX, Richard, the other Dick. D3TIX is now silent key. We heard from his son phoned in, I think at the beginning of the week. So that's one.
Anyway, so as you can see, the STANAG signal, which appeared a week last Wednesday, has disappeared. Now, this is good news for us because the fact that it appeared smack bang centered on this frequency, which is our standard 80 meter net frequency, was mildly annoying to say the least. Of course, it is possible to QSY, but you know, we've been using this frequency for a long time, so it was a bit of a shock. So it actually appeared at the end of the Wednesday afternoon net last week. So it lasted. Apparently, it disappeared last night. I didn't notice. I noticed this morning, and so it lasted for 9 days basically. And so it's good that it's gone. But yeah, what's interesting is the amount of the amount of work that it sort of created. So in the past week, one of our members, M0KEP, has done some clever stuff with some online SDRs to kind of sort of try and triangulate its position from the signal strength from sort of various receivers, and he did a great job. And it appeared to pinpoint the location of the transmitter to be somewhere in the Luxembourg area. I know that's quite general, but that's where Tim figured out it probably was. I independently trawled through quite a few online SDRs, just noting signal strength, and what I found was that in southern Europe, so receivers in Portugal, Spain, Italy, parts of European Russia, there was no copy on this STANAG signal. But in France, Germany, Belgium, the UK, obviously, up in Scotland, it was, you know, anywhere from S7 to S9 or higher. I think it was the Czech Republic where it was plus 10. Just like any other sort of digital signal, STANAG, I didn't realise actually that is an abbreviation of standard or standardised agreement. It's a NATO term, this particular STANAG signal, which is basically I think it's some kind of digital communications over HF, was 3.4 kilohertz wide. At times it was just consistent, just always there. Other times it was switching on and off. We thought it might be testing. The signal strength was varying actually at times from sort of S5 or 6 to plus 10 here. So then we started speculating whether or not they were having it in a test phase. But anyway, ultimately, one of the viewers of my YouTube channel wrote me an email, and he copied some decode information he picked up from one of the Pinneberg DWD signals, the one on 4583 kilohertz. Oh no, was it 143? I can't remember which one. Anyway, but basically he was decoding a RTTY signal, and there was reference to some naval exercises in the North Sea, and he figured that the fact that that was happening might be a reason as to why, you know, that might be a result of, or at least that resulted in this STANAG signal appearing. And so I passed this on to members of the club, and everybody found it rather interesting and actually thought it was a good theory. But I then proceeded to start decoding the STANAG, the RITI signal on whatever it was, 4583 kilohertz. And the beauty of that signal is that it's almost receivable with enough strength to decode successfully 24 hours a day. Now, there was a couple of hours yesterday, late morning, early afternoon, where the signal strength was dropping in and out. I'd always thought previously that you needed about sort of plus 4 or 5 dBs to successfully decode RITI. Now, I use the Elad for that, with the FDM SW2 software, and I pipe the audio out of that using a virtual audio cable into multi-PSK. But I was my own theory was disproven yesterday, because although the signal was dropping down to minus dB levels before the decoding would sort of go awry, and then as soon as the signal picked up back to sort of +1 or +2, it was successfully decoding again. But usually you can just continually decode that signal almost 24 hours a day. So I've been doing that on and off, mostly on, for over a week, waiting for some further notification of military exercises in the North Sea, but it never came. So in the end, what happened was basically the STANAG signal, disappeared yesterday. So that's good news for us, because it means that our frequency is clear again. I mean, particularly the 80 meter band. The 80 meter band is busy enough as it is, without a sort of 3.4 kilohertz wide signal smack bang in the middle of it that no one's interested in, and that no one is welcoming. So so there you go. It's very good news that that signal has gone, and we've got our frequency back, unless obviously some continental stations sort of steal it. Hi. So this weekend, I'm going to enjoy using 80 meters without that signal, but I'm planning to keep one of my radios on 3710, so that through the day I can sort of like have a quick look at a spectrum and make myself feel good that it's not there. So hopefully it won't come back again. But those types of signals are everywhere. There's one on the X band, medium wave X band, on 1680 kilohertz, and it's been there for years, I think, and they're all over the place. So but that was just a little bit too close to home, shall we say. My Yaesu FT-817. So I've offered this for sale actually to the Harwell Amateur Radio Society, because my plan is to base my, no pun intended, is to base my portable station on that radio, the Zygu G90, and the guy that owns it, G0CQZ, I think, Nigel, would like to sell it to me. I would like to buy it, but can't justify buying that without selling this first. So I've offered it to Harwell Amateur Radio Society. They do buy radios that are suitable to be loaned out to newly licensed members. So we've already got 2 or 3 radios, transceivers, that have been loaned out. I have actually got another one, the FT-990, which at some point will become a loaner radio. Excellent radio, really, really superb audio on it. Very ergonomically superb, very easy to use. It's really, really quite sensitive, and built-in matching and all the rest of it. It's a lovely. It's 30 years old. I mean, well, the date on the manual for that radio is 92, I think. So it's basically 30 years old. It's absolutely immaculate, and it's a joy to use that radio. It really is. I think in terms of actually the ergonomics of any of my transceivers, the ease of use, the quality of the audio, and the internal noise. I mean, this is qualitative because I haven't got any measuring equipment to sort of capture anything empirical, but on a strong signal on SSB, on that with the 990, the audio is simply superb. It's so quiet, the noise floor. You literally, with strong signals, you can't hear any hiss, anything at all. All you hear is the signal, you know, the voice, the modulation. It's absolutely superb, that 990. And, you know, I don't need that radio. I've got other radios that you could say that are equivalent to that, a bit newer than that. You know, for example, my IC756, that radio there, which I hardly ever use now. But there's just something about the audio on that 990 and the ergonomics. It's just a joy to use that radio. And obviously, I'm just using it because of COVID. I can't deliver it to the right people in the club. I'm not allowed. So, but anyway, I'm digressing because that's just another lone radio. So I offered this radio, the 817, to the club because this would also be a superb radio for a newbie. Now, obviously, it puts out 5 watts. If you run it off a lead acid battery, it puts out about 2.5 watts. But with this 45 watt amplifier running on battery power, it puts out about 18 or 19 watts, which is sort of okay, really. This cost 140 quid. I can't remember what I paid for this, but I think it was about 300. And obviously I've got some other bits and pieces for it. So the original NiCad battery packs are long gone. I bought a couple of these. These are quite 15 or 20 quid. So that's a nickel metal hydride battery pack. I bought 2 of these to go with it, and it's complete boxed and everything. Got the 2 rubber duck antennas for VHF, etc., UHF, and it's a lovely thing. But for me, and I prefer the aesthetics of this to the G90, but the G90 is 20 watts across all bands without the requirement for this amplifier. The problem with this for me, as I've said before, is that I want to use it on skeds, and on top band I'm only going to be putting out 2.5 watts, which basically ain't going to cut it. So so I've offered it to the club for sale, and I think they're interested. They need to come back to me relatively quickly because I need to pay Nigel for the G90, really. So and if they don't, I was going to put it on eBay. But the reason I'm talking about this now is because I don't know if there's anybody out there who's interested in buying what is effectively a portable setup, a portable station. I can't supply the lead acid batteries, obviously, but it comes the radio, the PA. I fitted it. I bought and fitted a power pole connector to the back of it to protect the main socket. There's 2 nickel metal hydride internal battery packs. I bought a cheap switch mode power supply, which isn't suitable for operating the radio, but it's suitable for charging the internal battery pack when it's not in use. So yeah, and then there's a carry. It comes with a case and all the other bits and pieces. So I need to sell it. I've offered it to Harwell. Those of you that are watching this video, if anybody is seriously interested, obviously, you know, there's the issue of I'm happy to ship it, but if anybody is seriously interested, then drop me a line and let me know. You never know. If Harwell in the end turn around and decide not to buy it, then it's going to be for sale, and otherwise I'm going to put it on eBay. So and these little radios are excellent. I wish I didn't have to sell it, really, but I can't justify having it and the G90. So, and the G90 from a functionality point of view, the G90 makes much more sense for me than this little radio, unfortunately. Any DXs out there looking for an excellent, the sensitivity on this radio is literally superb. And you know, it's I've copied Radio Tama on it. I mean, it's absolutely superb as a DXing kind of portable radio. It really is superb, and that might be one reason for me to keep it. But again, you know, I've got so many radios, I just can't justify it. And so selling it with the amplifier all thrown in, if anyone's interested, just let me know, and maybe there's a deal there. Like, as I said, I've offered it to Harwell. They haven't come back to me yet. I told them to come back to me quickly, and it's been a few days. So you know, maybe, you know, there may be a deal. So there you go. Anyway, I thought I'd mention that. And then the other thing that I'm doing, or that I'm still doing, is I'm monitoring long wave, not continually, but monitoring long wave quite a lot, because I'm trying to capture, or trying to catch, Mongolia again. And as I think a lot of people, well, a lot of DXers probably recognise, and I've said this before, excuse my wonky camera work here, I just want to show you the whole screen really. You know, Mongolia on long wave is sort of the holy grail really for DXing for a lot of people. And as you know, I recently finally managed to copy audio on one of these signals. They broadcast on 164, 209 and 227 kilohertz on long wave from various locations within Mongolia. And but they don't broadcast 24 hours a day, and so you've got to bide your time. And it just occurred to me actually that what I haven't done for a long time, this is the Elad FDM DUO. What I haven't done for a long time is set up the software that allows you to effectively operate multiple receivers, so you can basically monitor several IF spectrums. I think. Well, there's 4 sort of receivers here. There's 4. I'm using 3 of them right now, and I'm tracking the IF on 3 of them. I think in the past I've demonstrated up to 8 simultaneously, but for the Mongolian signals on long wave, you basically just need 3. So this is that's radio 4. That's Iceland on 189. That's Iceland on 207. And then you've got Polski radio, and you've got RTL, and then Medi 1. So 164 kilohertz, and then the French signal, the time signal, is just to the left of that, just a bit further down in frequency on 162. So 164, 209 and 227. And I've never copied anything on 227. As you can see, it's a nightmare because there's not enough sort of bandwidth between those 2 strong signals to hear anything at all. But I have traced carriers on 164 and 209. So I'm hoping to hear more audio now. Now that I've actually copied audio and it was real and tangible, I'm very keen to obviously copy more. But you know, it's a bit of a waiting game really, and there's only one other person I know in Europe that's actually done this, other than myself. A guy in Romania, and this is the guy that had I think he was using an antenna that was it 3.6 kilometers long, you know, and he was picking up some really nice audio. But then I guess you would with an antenna that was 3. You can do that kind of thing. You don't have to worry about overloading on these signals because they're so weak anyway. And with a 3,600 meter long antenna, he was picking up audio well enough to hear music clearly, etc., etc. But you wouldn't necessarily even have described it as a very strong signal. But that's how difficult it is to capture anything from Mongolia on long wave. So so here I am fishing with a net rather than a hook, tracking 3 frequencies, and I'm going to carry on doing that for quite some time. If the STANAG on 3710 appears again, then I'll probably give it all up and go back to decoding RTTY and trying to figure out what was the cause of that signal to appear in the first place, because it's still a bit of a mystery, but that's okay. Anyway, so that's me for the weekend. I hope you're all keeping safe. I hope that we might be coming to an end to this kind of nightmare. I suppose, well, now that sort of 9 or 10 million people in the UK have been vaccinated, we ought to be getting there. But I probably there's still quite a lot more water to flow under the bridge yet, before that actually happens. So in the meantime, as I always say, use the time at home. If you're stuck at home, use the time effectively. Get into the shack, listen to the radio, experiment with an antenna, all the usual stuff, because that's what I do when I get any spare time, notwithstanding the kids, etc. Yeah, if it hadn't been for radio, DXing and ham radio, I think I would have gone nuts by now. So, you know, it's just something that you can look forward to of an evening with a cup of tea and yeah, have a nice time. You know, we're very, very lucky to have such an engaging hobby with so many different aspects that, you know, if you're really into it, you're never going to get bored. It's basically it. There are so many ways to enjoy, you know, radio, whether it's listening, ham radio, satellite, you know, trying to copy the ISS. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So there you go. Well, I wish everybody a lovely weekend. I wish you good DX. Keep safe. And I'll no doubt talk to some of you again via the comments on the channel. So thanks for watching and talk soon. 7-3.